Preseason is finished. Some questions are answered, but a question that is answered that's not a good answer is the backup quarterback position. And the answer is, it's bad, and it sucks. So in this video, I read through a couple of articles. I want to talk about potential solutions to the backup quarterback position. Some articles talking about trading for a quarterback, releasing both quarterbacks currently we have. That would be Tim Boyle and David Blau to fix the solution. But before we get into today's video, if you think it's a smart and sound idea to travel back in time to be on the Titanic after it hits the iceberg and all the rafts are off the boat, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. Sometimes being a Lions fan, you could go down with the ship. Also, take that like button with you and let that bad boy get frozen. Let's get into today's Lions news and rumors. I want to throw in real news real quick. This is Dan Campbell. I think we all knew it after watching the game, but he was asked, is Jeffrey Okudah the starter? He said, basically, yes. We knew that after watching the game. Why? Because Okudah played well. Will Harris was in the fourth quarter of the preseason finale against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good for Jeff Okudah. He did his thing, and it's nice that he won that job opposite of Amani Oruwariye. Now, we don't know who the nickel corner is going to be. We have some ideas, but we know who 1 and 2 is. That is Amani Oruwariye and Jeffrey Okudah. Folks, you need to follow me on Twitter. Why? Because I'm dropping content and information on Twitter at MicroMike85. That is my handle. Follow me on that bad boy. I love to get to 1,150 followers. I think we're getting close there. I think we're about 30 away. So go ahead and follow me on that bad boy. Now let's get into the meat and bones of this video. I'm scrolling through articles. One is Lions Wire by Jeff Risdon. Love Jeff Risdon, friend of mine. Good guy. And he talked about trading for a backup quarterback. Why? Because his solution is none of the quarterbacks, that'd be David Blau, Tim Boyle, deserve to be on this roster. Matter of fact, a lot of people are talking about it. All you got to do is put in Detroit Lions, and you'll see articles that both of them do not deserve to be the backup quarterback for the Detroit Lions. So his solution and what he kind of believes, at least from Dan Campbell, because Dan Campbell was asked about this, we know what we need to do. We got to figure it out. Possibility that both these quarterbacks are not on this roster initially. 53-man roster come out, maybe Dave Blau's on there, but then the waiver wire comes in or a trade could happen to acquire a quarterback. So solutions we're going to go through waiver wire and we're going to go through trade scenarios. We're going to start with Trinity Benson and Tom Kennedy here. The Lions could make a trade to acquire a backup quarterback. Now, I'm not saying trading draft picks. I think that's a dumb idea. But we do have players on the back end, potentially to make the 53, that maybe we don't have them making the roster, at least, Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes, but we can use one of these players like a Benson, like a Tom Kennedy, trade them to another team that needs help at wide receiver, and we get a backup quarterback. Very possible. So we could use some of these assets. And yes, you can use a Tom Kennedy. Why? Maybe they do believe Trinity Benson's going to be that number 6 wide receiver. Well, Tom Kennedy has value because he did really good in preseason. Maybe trade him to the team like the Minnesota Vikings, who did lose a wide receiver, or another team like the Dallas Cowboys. That's what you can do. Or what if Trinity Benson is not going to make the team and you keep Tom Kennedy? Then you can go ahead and trade Trinity Benson to acquire talent of a quarterback. Very simple. In all honesty, another player that could be used in the trade bait here is Logan Stenberg. He has done well the last 2 weeks in training camp. Maybe the Lions like Tommy Kramer over him. So we can use Logan Stenberg, trade him to another team to acquire a backup quarterback. Offensive line has value. We know this, a ton of value. And if the Lions believe that Stenberg is not going to be on the 53, that is something they believe, well, then you have some windows here to take him, trade him to a team that needs offensive linemen, like the Cleveland Browns, who have a backup quarterback that the Lions could take a look, throw them and be the guy behind Jared Goff, like a Josh Rosen, who's right now a quarterback on the fringe for their football team. That's a win-win. Better solution than David Blau and Tim Boyle. Very possible. Other assets the Lions could use to trade, Julian Akwara, if they feel that he's not going to make the roster, but I'm not sure due to the injury. Would he pass a physical? That's something you would have to do a question there and kind of see. Quinta Cephas, I guess you could utilize him in trade bait, but I think he's made the roster, in my opinion. So I really don't want to trade away someone that could help our team out that way. But there's tradable assets. Let me know in the comment section, to acquire a quarterback, should the Lions trade? Y for yes and for no. If it's player v. player, I'm all for it. I don't mind it at all. I think that's a fantastic solution there, if you ask me. I'm all about it. Now let's get into quarterbacks the Detroit Lions could trade for and or pick up if released. Other options for the Lions here for a backup quarterback position. Here we go, folks. Here's the quarterbacks that I placed that the Lions could trade for and or pick up in waiver wire. Either way, trade, again, would be a player swap, so it doesn't really change anything. How about Sam Ehlinger from the Indianapolis Colts? These are preseason stats here. 0 receptions, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, a QBR of 147.8. That's damn good. Not too bad. I would take him over Tim Boyle and David Blau all day. Young guy. All these guys are young, by the way. The oldest guy here, I think, is Mason Rudolph at 27. So these are young players the Lions could look to add to the backup quarterback role. And I believe every single one of these guys is better than David Blau or Tim Boyle. Let's move on to Josh Rosen. He's a veteran. He's bounced around. He could be the oldest here. He could be, I think it's 27, 28 in that area. Same with Mason Rudolph there. In preseason, he may have the worst stats here as 0 receptions, 186, 0 touchdowns, a completion percentage of 66.7. Still better than David Blau and Tim Boyle. Not the best option of the rest, but is a option for the Detroit Lions. He is. And he does have some starting experience, and he's bounced around again with multiple teams. You know, the talk about the Cardinals, the Miami Dolphins, Atlanta Falcons, San Francisco 49ers, Cleveland Browns. He is a guy that bounces around. How about a really young guy here? NFC North, Kellen Mond. Now, his stats is a little bit different here. He got 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 303 yards, a QBR of 71. Again, the lower end spectrum here. Right now, I'd say he's the second worst quarterback on this list. Still better than Tim Boyle and David Blau. And there's a good chance this guy is not making the roster here, so that could be an absolute waiver claim for the Detroit Lions. Move on to Mike White. He's actually loved there in the New York Jets, but it looks like Flacco could be the quarterback right now. He's probably going to maybe even start week 1. This would probably have to be a trade, player v. player here. And because there is an injury to Zach Wilson, the man who loves his friend's wife, he should be good to go probably by week 2, maybe even be by week 1. So if you want to get him, you're probably going to have to trade for him. 0 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 358 yards, a QBR of 96.1. Not bad for Mr. White. He would be, between him and Sam, that'd probably be the best options for the backup quarterback position. Be solid. A hell of a solid addition here for sure. Another option, Mason Rudolph could be traded or he could be released. He definitely could be released. This is very possible. We've talked about him on this channel before because he's been rumored to Detroit, and he's a solid compared to what we have in Tim Boyle, David Blau. He's better than they are. Now, is he the greatest? No, he's not, but he is better than those other two. 0 interceptions, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 98.2 completion percentage in the preseason. He didn't really showcase anything yesterday. Why? Because he came in at the end of the game, and it was pretty much locked up for the Steelers winning that football game. We seen it right there. Who would you guys pick out of this list? Put in the comment section a name the Lions should pick up. Sam Ehlinger, Josh Rosen, Kellen Mond, Mike White, or Mason Rudolph. Put that in the comment section. Should the Detroit Lions cut both these quarterbacks, Tim Boyle and David Blau? They deserve to both be cut. Absolutely. And if the Lions decided to go ahead and do a waiver claim or trade for a quarterback, I'm down for it. We need to have a backup to Jared Goff. I've talked about it since last year. Talked about it. When Jared Goff went down last year, Tim Boyle came in and sucked. And I said we need to have a legitimate backup in here. This season, we got to win some football games, folks. I don't want to be the first pick in the draft or a top 5 pick. I want to win football games. To change a culture, you got to win. Injuries can happen. If Jared Goff goes down for a couple games, I want to have at least the idea that we could win a game. Not saying we will. The odds definitely go down, but could. And right now with Tim Boyle and David Blau, we're not going to win a football game, folks. We've seen it. They played with the starters. It was a mess. It was a train wreck. Lions, get another quarterback. I don't care how. Just do it. So I'm all for it to acquire another quarterback in here. Look, the waiver wire. We got the second claim. Trade a player away who's not going to make the roster for a player of a quarterback that's not going to make the other team's roster. Get it done. Get us a quarterback. I want to know that we have a solid option after Jared Goff. With that said, folks, I'm dropping videos every day. Get ready for a lot of breaking news. 53-man roster is going to be happening. As soon as the information comes in, I'll let you know. With that said, folks, adios.